Hey there, my lovely pioneers. Wanted to make another video about the shift. And this time I want to call it Gaia shift. It's Gaia shift. Why is this so? You know, have you noticed the weather lately, how it keeps changing, how everything is different, how everything changes from one second to another? Like for the past week, the weather here, it's like it's never been before. It's like yesterday and the day before yesterday, there were huge lightnings and thunderstorms and just amazing lightnings I was just observing in the sky. They were all, pinkish purple and so huge. And, lightning is always representing the really intense energy being shifted, being grounded, anchored in the earth. It's about the shifting of the magnetics. And just right before these storms started happening here, which were always exchanging with the sun, they were like storm, sun, storm, sun. It was like, can it be any more, fluctuating? So anyway, this is how it was. Just before these lightnings, I had a dream about them. I was looking at this mirror and it was kind of like nighttime, and I was observing and there were lightnings, and then all of a sudden, in this one single moment, they became like dozens of them, millions of them. It was like so intense, and the energy became so intense, and it pushed me. It pushed me with my belly, leaned against this bed that was there, and I just remained like this, feeling the intense energy, feeling the shift, and thinking to myself, I just need to be observant. I just need to stay me. I just need to stay connected. I just need to keep remembering who I am, because the energy is changing, and I just need to go through this. And all those of us who have high vibration enough will go through this. And this was my dream, and the next day there were lightnings and there was thunder and there were huge storms. So I was writing about this. I also am going to do a blog about this tomorrow, about all the physical changes and challenges. And what is happening, you have to be really blind to not see this happening on Earth now. And so many people, when I speak about this, when I publish about this, say the same thing. Everyone, in every corner of the world is noticing this right now. But, humans, we like to tend to think about this in terms of duality, thinking that, oh my God, what happens if things start changing? What happens if there are major earthquakes, if there are major shifts, if the climate changes drastically? We always think about us. It's we, it's me, I. It's sometimes this is really sad to watch, because it means that we have really forgotten the complexity of creation, and that every single thing is happening according to divine plan. And the fact be it, this time, really, dear pioneers, it's about Gaia. It's her shift. So she's not going through it emotionally, thinking, I'm not going to have an earthquake here because maybe Polona, there in Slovenia, will get hurt. The thing is, when you are aware enough, when you truly know and trust in the divine plan, when you raise your consciousness to a level that everything is happening right as it should, and that you will always be where you need to be during certain things that will shift on the planet, and they will shift and they will change, and because they already are changing and shifting. Because when you reach a certain level of connection, you are connected to your mother, and she will always support you. Always you will be where you need to be. That means inner safety, and there's no other safety than inner safety. People say, where's the safe place to go on Earth? There is no safe place but inside, because your divine guidance will always guide you to the right place. And it will always be connected to what your heart will feel. But don't forget, it is Gaia's shift. It is not us who get to decide. We want to control and dominate for so long. For eons and eons of time, we have wanted this. And it has been totally egocentric. It has totally been revolving around us and what we want and how we want to preserve our species. You know what? This thinking is so limited because creation is endless and it's so vast. And you also have to know there are many different levels of awareness that souls have here on Earth, because there's numerous amounts of souls, each on its own level, of its own understanding of creation, of cosmos, of life, of everything, within all that is. So a lot of these souls came here as volunteers, and a lot of these souls also ascended on other planetary systems, things like that. And they don't need to ascend, they just came here to assist. But what's happening is Gaia is right now going through this shift. It's her shift. And she is influenced by the sun. It is all about the sun. It's about our beloved sun and the sign behind the sun. And it's all connected. You can also say the inner sun with the inner earth. because everything is connected. While Gaia is shifting, it's because our sun is shifting. The whole solar system is shifting. The whole universe is therefore shifting because the universe has all these, compartments in it. So it's basically all is shifting. But when we see it from our own perception, which is like, we're the only ones that's shifting, it's so not like that. But when you start realizing that all is within the divine plan anyway, you will see that you're just a part of it. And you have made a certain pact, an agreement with the mother and with the father within this divine plan, where you are to be, what you are to experience. And therefore you're supposed to trust and grow stronger in faith. So these weather patterns, they are becoming so extreme right now because, when something is expanding in consciousness, it will always go first, like a rubber band. It will go to one extreme and then to another extreme in order to come back to unity, to wholeness, to that center that is within. So the same thing is happening now with Gaia. She's stretching in all directions, claiming her space back, saying, what, get rid of that, no longer serves me, and that, like we're doing. So when we reach the consciousness, not the consciousness, but the awareness that you perceive yourself as consciousness, when you reach that level, when you truly feel yourself not separate from the mother and the father, that you truly just exist somewhere in between as this temple of light, this beautiful being of light that was built to experience that in the celestial body that is Earth or some other celestial body. There's infinite amounts. When you really remember that, you will remember why you're here, what kind of agreement within your blueprint you did make, and you will remember it's about Gaia this time. And that's why a lot of volunteers came here who have this pact with our beloved goddess Gaia that are to help to raise her in that vibration to move into the next level of experience. And all those who will, wish to experience along with her will. And those who will say, you know what, I don't like this level of experiencing and soul growth, I will choose something else, we'll choose something else. But basically the whole energy field, the whole magnetic field is changing because, she's changing. She's choosing a new path, a new incarnation, so to say. So we are to be more compassionate through understanding the whole grander picture, not just our own point of view as to what we would like, what our outcomes are supposed to be like. For instance, there was a lot of bad weather here, and usually you could go to the mountains a lot in the springtime. This year it was not so much possible because there was so much rain and just bad weather, especially in the mountains. And if I would be coming from an egotistical point of view, I would be like complaining all the time why this is so, I can't even go to the mountains. But what I think about is, the mountains need what they need. Maybe they need this kind of weather to purify. There's an answer for everything. My beloved told me this great story, this great example with someone who, people then thought was a bit mental. What that person did to restore something in a national park. There was a wildlife fire and he just let it all burn. It was like, I don't know how big it was, but the whole region, everything just went. But just a few years after, I forgot the date line, but just not really, it didn't took long, There was amazing plant species, there was amazing trees starting to grow again, and the whole thing started rejuvenating, climbing back, way up. But what was there is that these whole trees that existed before, they were infected with a certain bug, and they were ill, actually. So that fire planted something new. The ashes are always there to fertilize the soil in order for something new to be created and birthed. That's what it's about. Because nature knows. Nature is always connected with the divine intelligence because it is divine intelligence. Sometimes we, with this manipulated human awareness, forget this. And what they did here in Slovenia, even though it's against the rule to, kind of intervene when something like that happens, they stopped the fire. But what happened, they were taking the water from a certain pond or something like that, and then they damaged a certain species, which now is extinct, no longer exists. See what happens when a human intervenes? Because our awareness will always be to preserve ourselves. We have to survive, preserve the species. You forget that we're not the only species alive here. We're organically interlinked with every fraction of creation. And it is Gaia shift. And all those of us who want to be organic, who want to live in awareness and connection with all life. We'll go through it with ease, with flow, and the more that we'll go into fear and panic when certain things might happen, if they happen, because no one really knows right now. Why no one knows what is to happen? Because we choose it. We wish to experience things as brand new. This is our choice. We want to flow with this shift, and it's happening for the first time in this universe as it is happening. And you know, sometimes we are more to think about when something is happening and we might not like it, when we think that maybe the next moment we will be somewhere else, and then we will realize, oh my God, you know, what was before, I only got to experience before. It was the only time when I felt a certain way, because it was the only single experience. You know, although life is eternal, you know, on a soul level, on a soul spark, source level, you get to experience something that is unique just at that single now moment. So when we shift to thinking like that, we will see that what is happening now, even though we might like it, we might not like it, we are experiencing it in the way that we will never experience it like this before. So why would we want to know something in advance? That's why we choose not to know, because therefore our experiencing of it would be different. It would be modified. It would be taken away from us, because we would not perceive things as brand new anymore. We would add to it by our own rationalizing, wanting to save ourselves, you know, logical thinking. So that's why this is not within the divine plan. Anyway, guys, it is so simple in truth. Truth is really simple. So I also wanted to add this, you know, when you have like group of New Age people who really teach this things, you know, about the consciousness, about angels, about, you know, masters, things like that. All these sayings, what is good, what is not, what is positive, what is negative, what is dark, what is light. But when something would happen, you know, imagine this chaos, and imagine those people who would want to know more about it. They would want to learn. You know, they would say, give me the answers. You think these people who are only staying there in the workshops, the classrooms, you think they would have the answer for them if they would not be connected to Mother and the Father, to connected to all life, really living organically, going through it as experiencing it? They wouldn't have the answer for them. That's why there's a certain group of people here on Earth right now, way showers, who are going through these things, who are reaching a perfected level of connection with Earth, who are reaching the levels of beyond fear, just pure organic trust, faith. Faith is what Jesus has been preaching all along, and it's the only reality when you truly know yourself. So it's all about remembering. And when certain moments come, when you might get scared, for instance, if there's an earthquake, you know, something starts shaking a bit. That's what's happening here, because Italy is very close, and there were a few earthquakes already in Italy. It's our neighbor country. And when something happens and you might get startled a bit, just stay in that peace, stay in that zone, and remember you are where you need to be, and it's all good. And share compassion with the Mother. Know that it's all as it should be. Anyway, beloved pioneers, take care. Know that it's Gaia's shift, and she knows exactly what she needs to do. And each of us knows exactly what we need to do for our own personal shift. Take care. You're always guided. Much love. Bye-bye.